Hi everyone, it's Zoreen from Yahoo Esports, and I have the pleasure of speaking to Tomi today, aka Lurppis. Tomi, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you. Now we've just come off the ECS Season 2 finals. What a final it was. What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, starting from the beginning of the tournament, Australia's just looked dominant. They look nothing like the team that lost the grand final of ELeague to Optic. They obviously took the lessons away from that final, and they just played damn near perfect Counter-Strike this whole tournament.
And what are your thoughts about a Astralis versus Optic grand final? Was that expected, or do you think it's another huge surprise coming into this?
Well, I don't think anybody could really put their finger down on Optic just quite yet, even though they won Northern Arena and ELeague, but in between they crashed out and did last place at DreamHack Winners, so I think people are still kind of waiting to figure out just how good they were. I think this sort of proves that they are towards the upper echelon, but you still want to see them more before you know whether they're always going to be competing or if they need a bit of luck somewhere along the way.
So not quite a Tier 1 team yet?
No, I mean they're a Tier 1 team, but there's still a big jump from being a top 10 team and being a top 4 team that always contends for the titles.
And what are your thoughts on the state of NA versus EU CS right now, given that we had like an NA versus EU final?
Well, I mean, North American teams have done pretty well in the last quarter of the year. So Cloud9 won the ESL Pro League finals in Brazil. Now Optic won ELeague. It's definitely better than expected, and they've sparked up quite nicely. I think generally the Brazilians moving to North America and their success has obviously done good for the whole North American scene, and we'll just see how they continue to build on that next year.
We have the ELeague Major coming up very shortly as well. What are your predictions for that tournament?
Well, that's going to be really interesting because like we've been talking about throughout this year, it's been so oversaturated. Some of the players I've been talking to here said they haven't gone home for 5 weeks. They've been traveling from tournament to tournament. Almost everybody here is flying to Atlanta from here tomorrow to go to the major qualifier. So, I mean, that's going to be the one tournament where everybody finally has time to go home, finally has some time to take off, rest, and actually practice. So that's going to be how we finally decide how good everybody is, because right now it seems like it's a bit random sometimes considering the lack of practice.
Do you think that we're kind of reaching like the saturation point of tournaments for teams? Is there too much, too little, or what would you like to see kind of adjusted for the next year?
Well, I just think that teams need to be more selective in choosing which tournaments to attend. Some of them have already been doing that to extent. Virtus Pro is a good example. They dropped out of a couple tournaments here at the end of the year. Some of the others have been saying they need to start doing that, but they haven't been quite been able to pull the trigger just yet. I think everybody's realizing that they're sort of pushing themselves a little too much, and it's just not good for them to be going to so many tournaments. I mean, you just can't practice continuing this way.
Do you personally have any favorites for the ELeague Major?
No, I mean from a favorite perspective, it's so hard to tell because of how long the break has been. If I had to say a name right now, it would be Astralis from a objective point of view. Like more personally, I just root for my friends who still play. I don't really have like a favorite team or anything like that.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your insights, Lurppis. Yeah, best of luck.
Thanks.
I'm Zoreen T for Yahoo Esports. For more CSGO coverage, be sure to check out our site.